So you want to stay under the radar, to be anonymous on the internet, invisible to governments and secret services. It's easy. Just enter the Tor network. Welcome to the dark web. Are you intrigued? Stay tuned. Hello everyone, thanks for joining. Okay, you like your privacy, but if you go out of your way to protect your identity, your location, and what you're doing, isn't that taking it a bit too far? The short answer is no. Your privacy is a right laid down, amongst others, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It is not a nice thing to have, but a hard fought over right that should protect us from the prying eyes of a government or government agency. Our Western democratic governments are relatively benign, although some of you may disagree, but in other parts of the world governments are not so friendly. And there, staying under the radar is a necessity and can even be a matter of life or death. To have a discussion about privacy, we first need to talk about the dark web. Yes, that place of the internet where you've been told that criminals do their shady deals. You must have seen the picture where the internet is depicted as an iceberg. The small part above the waterline is the part where our daily internet browsing takes place. Our online shopping, YouTube videos, and other websites we visit on a daily basis, and which we can reach through our browsers, Edge, Safari, Chrome, but preferably, of course, Firefox. Below the waterline is the deep web. That is everything behind a password, like business communication, government communication, virtual private networks, and so on. Even deeper down, receding into the dark, is the dark web, the hangout for criminals. This is where you can find drugs, illegal arms, hitmen for hire, and everything else illegal. When it is shown like this, the obvious question is, why don't they shut that part of the internet down? The answer is no, you can't. And the picture of the iceberg represents a wrong picture. Much better to depict the internet is a motorway. Private traffic, commercial traffic, but also criminal traffic make use of that same motorway. Just like we cannot say, let's shut down that part of the tarmac that criminals are traveling on the M1, you cannot shut down part of the internet. It is all indistinguishable, one and the same. But if we continue the analogy, couldn't they check from the license plates and follow the cars, meaning data, from the source and to the destination? Yes, they could, and that immediately gave cause for concern about the privacy on the internet. That's why in the early 90s the Tor network was developed, T-O-R. First for military purposes, but in the early years of 2000 it was further developed for the public domain. Let's continue to use the motorway analogy. In case of the Tor network, the contents of each car is swapped at every parking location. After a large number of swaps, you're completely lost as to which car holds which data. The stopping and swapping of course takes time, and the Tor network is somewhat slower than the regular internet, but it's completely anonymous. Tor stands for the onion router. Just like with an onion, you have to peel off a lot of layers to get to the core. But can't they shut down the Tor network? No, because it uses the same motorway as all the other traffic. It is strongly decentralized, meaning that there is not one server routing all the traffic. And besides, it's also being used by governments and their secret services. Yeah. But even if you could shut it down, that would be undesirable. There are many good reasons to negotiate the internet in complete anonymity. What about journalists that want to do their job in countries where any other opinion is severely punished? Or whistleblowers who want to expose wrongdoings anonymously? Or political activists trying to get an opposition off the ground in totalitarian regimes? The dark web is a misnomer for a very useful and wanted part of the internet, where anonymity is important, essential, or even a matter of life and death. The fact that criminal elements make use of it as well is regrettable but unavoidable. You need to use a Tor browser to get onto the Tor network. Just download the browser from the website torproject.org and soon you have this icon on your desktop. Now also you can surf the web anonymously. You'll recognize that it is a Firefox clone, and yes, you can equip it with add-ons to get rid of commercials, etc. Remember uBlock Origin? But let's take things a step further. Look at this clip from my friend Boris in Novosibirsk.
Dobry dzień. Hello, comrades. I'm Boris, journalist in Novosibirsk. Oh, very cold here. I'm writing article about Vladimir Putin. He corrupt president. In my article, I tell everything. What's the noise?
KGB.
KGB.
Immediately.
I'm smart journalist. I do everything on USB stick with Tails.
Open this door now.
What, comrades? I was only watching VooxTube movies.
Boris is a clever journalist. He uses Tails as an operating system. Tails is based on Linux and is called a Linux distribution. Linux is an operating system for computers like Windows from Microsoft or iOS from Apple. However, Linux is open source, which means that the source code can be freely examined and is therefore already much better for security and privacy. Tails is a distribution of Linux geared to extreme security and privacy. Tails stands for the amnesic, it remembers nothing, incognito, doesn't reveal your identity, live system. The live system part means that Tails can operate from a USB stick and does not have to be installed on a hard drive on your computer. The moment Boris ripped the USB stick out of the laptop, Tails is gone, including data, browse history, everything. Nothing remains behind that could indicate what he was working on. Of course, you can install Tails in such a way that you can store documents. Convenient, but of course behind super strong encryption. Sounds good, but it doesn't prevent secret services like the CIA or the KGB to crack the code. Not with multi-million-dollar electronic equipment, no, with a $5 hammer that they use on your knees long enough for you to hand over the codes. Brutal? Yes, but unfortunately, reality. Nevertheless, Tails is the operating system for journalists, whistleblowers, political activists, human rights lawyers to stay under the radar of governments and their secret services. Unfortunately, also criminals benefit from using Tails. Installing Tails is easy but takes some extra work. You need a USB stick, and if you follow the instructions on tails.boom.org, you will soon have a working copy of Tails. If you've got an old laptop lying around somewhere, 10 to 1 it will run Tails. Give it a try. This is what the Tails desktop looks like. Pretty minimalistic. You cannot really personalize it, and for good reasons. Any personalized desktop can be linked to you. Imagine having a desktop with a family picture, a dead giveaway. Tails is by default equipped with the Tor browser. It has a standard Office package called LibreOffice, Thunderbird as an email client, a password manager KeePass, and Electrum as a standard Bitcoin wallet, and lots of software for encryption. Edward Snowden and the people around him at the time of his revelations were using Tails, just like our journalist Boris. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. I wonder how Boris is doing. Let's give him a call.
Hello? Hello, Boris. This is Herman from Holland. I thought you were dead.
No, Comrade Herman. Boris is clever.
not only use tails, but also bulletproof vest.